Hello, my name is Julie and welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make this offset granny blanket. So over in this corner starts our simple granny square. And then we work on these two sides to get the size we want. This particular blanket measured 31 inches across and about 32.5 inches, or about 83 millimeters, about 80 millimeters. So without further ado, let's get started. To make my offset granny square blanket, I'm just going to use some size 4 worst weight yarn and a size eye hook. But this blanket is versatile. You can use whatever appropriate yarn and hook size you want. So we're just going to start out by making a simple granny square. You can do a magic ring like I'm going to do, or you can chain 4 and join with the first chain to make a ring. But I'm doing a magic ring, so I'm going to start out by chaining 3, doing 2 more double crochets into my ring, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the magic ring, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into our magic ring, chain 2, and finally 3 more double crochets into our magic ring, chain 2. Now we're going to pull our ring shut, and then we are going to join on top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. And I'm going to change colors, so I'm going to cut off and finish this first square off. Right, I generally will slip stitch into a chain 2 corner. I'm going to chain another 3, and do 2 more double crochets, chain 2, and do 3 more double crochets into that same chain 2 space, chain 1, and then in this next chain 2 space we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, do 3, right, another chain 1, and then we're going to repeat that for the last 2 chain 2 spaces to finish our granny square, or at least this round of the granny square. All right, now about ready to join with the chain top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. All right, I'm going to go back to this color, so I'm going to cut that off. All right, so I'm just going to, like before, I'm going to join into one of the chain 4 or chain 3. Join with chain 2 corner space. And I'm going to chain 3. Do 2 more double crochets. Chain 2 and do 3 more double crochets into that corner. We're going to chain 1, and in this chain 1 space we are going to do 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and in the chain 2 corner we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 1 and 3 more double crochets, chain 1, do 3 double crochets into that chain 1 space, chain 1, and do again 3 double crochets, chain 2, and another 3 double crochets into that chain 2 corner, chain 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochets into that chain 1 space, chain 1, and then again we're doing that in our corner space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets, chain one, and finally 3 double crochets into this last chain one space. Chain one, and then we're going to join to finish up this last row of the square with the top of the chain 3 space, top of the chain 3 from the beginning. And we're going to finish off this color. And B. Okay, we had initially finished the square, but this blanket is definitely 100% adjustable, or according to your taste. If you want to make a slightly bigger granny square, I mean, you can do so. It depends on how big you want your blanket and how big you would like your little granny square. But at this point, we are now going to increase our blanket by only working on 2 sides of this granny square. So I am going to attach yarn to a corner of the granny square and chain 3. And then we're going to do another 3 more double crochets into this corner for the chain 2 space. We're going to chain 1, and do 3 double crochets into this chain 1 space. Chain 1, and do another 3 double crochets into the chain 1 space. Kind of like we're still kind of like making this granny square. Chain 1, okay, need more yarn. And we're back, we're at the corner of our corner of the square or the blanket. So we are going to do 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Chain 1, do 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, we're going to 3 double crochets into this other chain 1 space. Chain 1, three double crochets. Actually, we're going to do 4 double crochets into this chain 2 space, because this is the end of the row. All right, that is it. That is the 2 sides we are working on. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually turn our work and work on the other side. So we're going to chain 4 and turn, and then do 3 double crochets into this chain 1 space. And then we're going to keep going like before in our granny square. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the chain 1 spaces and chain 1 until we get to the corner. That is 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets, and then I will show you what to do when we get to the end of this row. Okay, we are at the end of this row. What we're going to do here is chain 1 and do 1 double crochet back into the turning chain, and that's the end of that row. So now for this next row, we are going to chain 3 and turn, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into this chain 1 space, chain 1, and like before, 3 double crochets into the chain 1 spaces, and then chain 1, 3 double crochets in chain 1 spaces like before, and then in our corner chain 2 space is our 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets until I show you what we do when we get to the end. Okay, and we are at the end here. So we're going to put 3 double crochets as this is into that chain 1 space, which is actually part of the chain 4 turning chain. And 1 more double crochet you could do this into the turning chain. And then at this point, I'm going to change colors. I'm going to cut off my other color. I mean, you don't have to do this. So it says you're going to repeat the last 2 rows we just did until you want your square or blanket to be as big as you want. So what you could do is you can cut it off here and make a bunch of your granny squares offset like this, and then just make a bunch of blankets in this offset granny square. That would look kind of cool too. But in my case, I'm just going to make one big blanket with this one big square, with this square, and just keep adding on rows for the blanket. So I am going to repeat these last 2 rows that we just did until I get the length we want it. And just a reminder how we start that, we chained 4 at the beginning of this row and do 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then keep making, you know, the granny square like you normally would. 3 double crochets into the chain 1 spaces, followed by a chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the corner, and then at the end we're going to do 3 double crochets into this last chain 1 space, chain 1, and then put a double crochet at the very end. So as a reminder, at the end of this row, we're going to chain 1 and do 1 double crochet into the turning chain. There we are. And then for our second row and our 2 row repeat, we're just going to chain 3 turn 3 double crochets into that chain 1 space, chain 1, and do it again 3 double crochets into the chain 1 spaces, chain 1, and then repeat that. Obviously our corner is 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets into the corner until we get to the end here, which will be 3 double crochets into this chain 1 space and 1 more double crochet into that chain, turning chain. Okay, so I got my blanket as big as I want my blanket to be. And you only want to end on a row that has like a double crochet, a chain 1 space, because that is going to be our corner. So I'm going to slip stitch in that corner, chain 3, do 2 more double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and we are going to proceed on our established pattern until we get to the other side, or to the other corner. Okay, so I've reached to the other end that had the chain 1. Actually, this is our turning chain of 4, which represented a double crochet in a chain 1. Anyway, in this space here, we are going to do what we do for our corner. It's our corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. Chain 2. And 3 double crochets. Now we're going to turn again and work, and then we're going to chain 1. Okay, after we did our corner with chain 1, we are going to do our 3 double crochets in the open spaces that had the double crochets and chain 1 spaces, or in between. We're going to do 3 double crochets in between these groups alongside. We're chain 1 there, and do another 3 double crochets along the side around it. It was a double crochet from previous row, or in between. We're doing 3 double crochets in between these groups. On the side, chain 1, 3 double crochets to the side between the groups, and I guess it was around, this is where our double crochet was, and chain 1 space. So you are going to repeat this until we get down. Probably going to get down and we're going to probably meet up close to where our initial granny square was. So I want to keep going until I get to the end of this row, or when we approach that the original granny square. Okay, I have reached the part where I'm at the original granny square, but just to proceed on, I did my cluster of 3 double crochets. I'm just going to chain 1 and just do 3 double crochets into this original corner of the square. Chain 1, and also 3 double crochets into the chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the chain 1 space of this original square. Chain 1, and we're back at the square of the granny square, so it's going to be 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. To the corner, there we are. Nice. Chain 1 and then 3 double crochets in the chain 1s of the other side of this original granny square. Chain 1. Okay, so we're approaching up the other side of this granny square. This is the other corner of the original square, so 3 double crochets into that. Chain 1, and then we're into, you're going to do 3 double crochets into around this double crochet from the rows going up the offset sides of the rows, or in between the 2 clusters, doing 3 double crochets, chain 1, and proceed on like before until we get to the back to the beginning of our row. Okay, at the end of the row, I had already slip stitched with a join with the top of the chain 3 from the beginning, and all I'm going to do now, I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 2 space, chain 3, and do our established corner pattern, 2 more double crochets, chain 2, three more double crochets, and then we're going to continue on our established pattern for, I'm going to do that for 2 more rounds, so I have 3 rounds of the granny border for this blanket, and then I will show you what to do next. All right, I have finished up my 3rd row, and for our final border stitch, you can do whatever you could at this point. I had joined, you can do just a simple single crochet in every stitch, and maybe do 2 to 3 single crochets in each corner. But I am going to do what they call either a reverse single crochet or a crab stitch. So this could be slightly challenging. So I already joined with the beginning single crochet. So we're going to, instead of working the verse, it's reversed. So instead of going right to left, we're going to go from left to right. So this was our chain 1 space, so we're going to do like a single crochet stitch, but we're going to go backwards. So we're going to go back to our right, just insert our hook and do a single crochet like normal. So yeah, so we're putting the hook behind it and doing a single crochet. And if you can tell, it's starting to make like a rolled edge. So yeah, you put in every stitch we're going to put, and then our hook, do a single crochet. But we're doing it with crab stitch, going backwards. So we're going, it's like we're inserting our hook. To the stitch, we're going like we're working backwards. That's why they call it a reverse single crochet stitch or the crab stitch, and you're getting this unique edge to it. So I'm going to keep going until I get to my first corner. Oh, back here first. All right, I'm at the corner. So into that chain 2 space, I am just going to do the crab stitch or the 2 reverse single crochets into that corner, and then proceed on like before. So all right, I'm going to finish up this round, and I will show you how we're going to finish up this blanket. Okay, I am at the end of the row. I had done my last single crochet, I don't know if you can tell, in again this turning chain. So I'm going to finish, cut off my end here. And with the tail, we are going to sew this seamlessly in. So I'm going to go in, okay, I don't know if you can see, take my tail and put it in. Ooh. There, that looks very seamlessly to the point that it surprised me. I'm like, wow, that looks really nice. So we're just going to finish off this end and finish off the many ends. I still have to sew in, and this project is done. There, and there you have my granny offset granny square blanket. If you did like this tutorial, please give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. And I want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now.